Welcome to Xi Jinping Briefing. The content of the briefing includes how Canada's foreign policy isn't keeping up with a rapidly changing world. China says bounty on Hong Kong democracy activists justified. Chinese president stops over in Guangxi on ASEAN Tech and Ethnic Unity mission. How Canada's foreign policy isn't keeping up with a rapidly changing world. The Globe and Mail. Canada needs to reassess its foreign policy in order to adapt to the changing global landscape, according to an op-ed in the Globe and Mail. The article argues that Canada has not kept up with the power shifts occurring around the world and is vulnerable as a result. The country has traditionally relied on its relationships with Western allies and has not focused on building influence in emerging economies in Asia. Furthermore, Canada has allowed its military and national security infrastructure to decline while failing to address new threats. The article suggests that Canada needs to recognize the importance of the Global South, diversify its political relationships, and differentiate between different countries within this region. Canada should also focus on increasing economic security and developing closer ties with trusted partners in strategically important sectors. In addition, the country needs to invest in its military capabilities and intelligence infrastructure to protect against foreign interference and coercion. The article concludes that a recalculation of Canada's interests and a recognition of the importance of foreign policy are necessary for the country to navigate the changing global landscape. China says bounty on Hong Kong democracy activists justified. The Independent. China has defended a controversial reward offered by Hong Kong's police for information on dissidents who have sought refuge abroad, calling it justified despite widespread criticism from foreign governments and human rights groups. The reward of 1 million Hong Kong dollars, $128,400, was offered for information leading to the arrest of 13 opposition figures accused of violating Hong Kong's national security law. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Mao Ning, said the arrest orders were in line with international law and practice and accused other countries of interfering in China's internal affairs. Chinese president stops over in Guangxi on ASEAN Tech and Ethnic Unity mission. South China Morning Post. Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for greater efforts to strengthen ethnic unity and progress on IT links with ASEAN countries. During a two-day inspection tour of Nanning in southern China, Xi urged officials to help build a China-ASEAN community with shared interests through increased cooperation in commerce, labor, industry, science and technology, and education. Xi also visited the China-ASEAN Information Harbor to inspect digitization developments in economic and trade cooperation between China and ASEAN. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension, here to bring you the latest news and analysis from around the world. Today, we discussed three intriguing stories that shed light on the evolving global landscape. First, we learned that Canada's foreign policy is struggling to keep up with the rapidly changing world. As the power dynamics shift, Canada finds itself vulnerable due to its reliance on traditional Western allies and a lack of focus on emerging economies in Asia. To navigate this new era, Canada must recognize the importance of the Global South, diversify its political relationships, and invest in economic security. Additionally, Canada needs to bolster its military capabilities and intelligence infrastructure to protect against foreign interference. It's time for Canada to reassess its interests and recognize the significance of foreign policy in this changing global landscape. Next, we explored China's defense of the controversial bounty placed on Hong Kong democracy activists. Despite criticism from foreign governments and human rights groups, China argues that the arrest orders are justified and in line with international law. This further highlights the ongoing tension between China and the international community over the situation in Hong Kong. It's clear that China is determined to assert control and limit foreign interference in its internal affairs. Lastly, we discussed Chinese President Xi Jinping's mission to strengthen ethnic unity and enhance IT links with ASEAN countries. During his visit to Nanning, Xi emphasized the need for increased cooperation in various sectors to build a China-ASEAN community with shared interests. This highlights China's efforts to solidify its influence in the region and expand its technological reach. It's a strategic move that demonstrates China's commitment to regional integration and cooperation. In conclusion, these stories demonstrate the importance of adapting to a rapidly changing world. Canada must reassess its foreign policy, China is asserting its control over Hong Kong, and President Xi is working towards strengthening regional ties. The global landscape is evolving, and it's crucial for countries to recognize and adapt to these changes. Now, I turn to you, my dear viewers. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you believe Canada should prioritize building influence in emerging economies? How do you view China's defense of the bounty on Hong Kong activists? And what do you make of President Xi's efforts to strengthen ethnic unity and IT links with ASEAN countries? Share your thoughts and questions, and let's engage in a lively discussion. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.